Taylor Swift has responded via a spokesperson. It is not good for Blake Lively, as Taylor Swift essentially wants nothing to do with this. In fact, kind of shows that she's distancing herself by saying, I didn't even see this movie for weeks on end.
Taylor Swift has just been pulled into a high-profile legal battle, and this isn't tabloid gossip. It's a verified subpoena, backed by court records and filed by powerhouse attorney Brian Freedman. The legal document names Swift as a witness in a lawsuit involving It Ends With Us, a film starring Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. On the surface, it might seem like a strange move. Swift isn't in the movie. She didn't promote it. She's not listed as a producer, executive, or creative contributor. But now she's being dragged into the middle of a courtroom war between two of her former close friends.
Swift subpoenaed as witness in Lively Baldoni case.
The legal filing demands her testimony, suggesting she may have been a key player in a now infamous meeting that allegedly turned hostile inside a New York City penthouse. And it didn't take long for this bombshell subpoena to ignite an all-out media frenzy. But Taylor Swift wasn't caught off guard. Within hours of the subpoena being made public, her legal team, known for their precision and speed, issued a scathing response that hit like a legal missile. The wording wasn't vague. It was direct, aggressive, and calculated. The subpoena wasn't just unnecessary, they said. It was a blatant stunt designed to exploit her global fame and create maximum media buzz.
Bad blood between Taylor Swift and BFF Blake Lively? Don't count on it.
They accused Baldoni's legal team of using her name to hijack the narrative and turn the lawsuit into a viral headline machine. According to Swift's official spokesperson, the legal filing was less about seeking truth and more about dragging her into something she had nothing to do with, all while she's in the middle of her billion-dollar Eras tour. And this wasn't just PR spin. Taylor's team laid out a clear, factual defense backed by timeline receipts and project records. She never set foot on the film set. She had zero communication with casting directors. She didn't watch any early edits. She didn't review scripts. She didn't give creative input.
As Blake's legal battle with former co-star Justin Baldoni continues to play out in the headlines, there are reports that the saga has impacted the It Ends With Us star's friendship with Taylor.
Her only documented connection to It Ends With Us was the licensing of a single track, her song My Tears Ricochet. That license was processed legally and included as part of a broader soundtrack featuring 19 other artists. Her name, her brand, and her reputation were being dragged into a lawsuit over something she barely touched. What's even more telling is the tone of the statement. This wasn't Taylor's usual polished, graceful PR language. This was a legal firebomb, signaling that Swift's team is drawing a hard line. They are not just denying involvement, they're rejecting the subpoena as an abuse of the legal system.
Taylor Swift certainly does not. She's distancing herself from Blake Lively the way you distance yourself from a one-night stand who gets too clingy.
The subtext is crystal clear. Taylor Swift isn't just annoyed, she's furious. And she's ready to fight back. But the storm didn't start in a courtroom. It began inside a Manhattan penthouse. That's where everything unraveled. Legal documents describe a tense private meeting between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, reportedly at the apartment she shares with Ryan Reynolds. According to Baldoni's own lawsuit, he showed up to discuss script changes for It Ends With Us. What he walked into was something else entirely. The scene, as described in the filings, wasn't a typical creative discussion. It was a confrontation.
Between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively, Taylor feels like she's been used.
Yeah, used in the middle of Blake Lively's war with Justin Baldoni.
Blake presented new script pages, revisions she allegedly made herself, and Baldoni later claimed he felt blindsided. But the pressure wasn't just about the script. What made the meeting explosive, according to Baldoni's legal team, was who else was in the room. That's where Taylor Swift's name first surfaced. The documents suggest that Taylor may have been present, possibly even acting as a kind of silent force in the background. Baldoni, in his legal statement, said he felt so cornered by the environment, by the mega celebrity friend in the room, that he felt forced to agree with Blake's changes. Shortly after leaving, he texted her to say he liked the new pages, but his lawsuit makes it clear.
Lively can forget about packing her bags for New Orleans this weekend. I guess
she can go.
She can still go to the Super Bowl.
She's just not going to get the best suite, that's for sure.
She will not be in Taylor Swift's suite.
He only said that because he felt like he had no choice. The mega celebrity friend wasn't named in the legal brief, but Taylor Swift's identity was obvious. Her presence alone, whether intentional or not, became a central piece of the tension. But Swift's team is tearing that version of events apart. They're not just denying her involvement, they're erasing it. According to an official statement, Taylor wasn't even part of the meeting. A person directly tied to her camp confirmed she arrived after the meeting had already ended, as Baldoni was on his way out. She didn't participate. She didn't hear the discussion. She didn't contribute a word, yet based on that vague implication in the legal papers, she was subpoenaed as if she had played a decisive role. And that's where her team drew the line. They refused to let Taylor be used as a prop in someone else's legal drama.
Gottlieb went on to point out, you have to ask the question then, why are these people being subpoenaed? Of course, that's referring to Taylor Swift, because she has a song in the movie. Do they have any actual relevance to the case at hand? You can't just go around subpoenaing people because they're famous and you think it will generate a bunch of headlines.
It's a critical distinction. If Taylor was in the room, she could be called as a first-hand witness. But if she only arrived afterward, the subpoena becomes baseless. That's exactly the point Swift's legal team is hammering. They are fighting to prove that Taylor's only crime was breathing the same air as the drama, nothing more. And now they're demanding her name be taken out of the narrative completely. But that one implication, that one moment, was all it took to flip the public story and send shockwaves through Hollywood. While Taylor Swift's legal team launched into defense mode, Blake Lively stepped into the spotlight with a statement of her own, and she didn't hold back. Speaking directly to ABC News, Lively lashed out at Baldoni's legal strategy, accusing him and his attorney of turning what she called a serious legal matter into nothing more than entertainment for the tabloids.
Comes to the rumor, a source confirms to E! News it's not true. The chatter started after a source claimed to the Daily Mail that Taylor had taken a step back.
She argued that the lawsuit is about sexual harassment and retaliation. And dragging Taylor Swift into it wasn't just inappropriate, it was an insult. In her words, subpoenaing Taylor, one of the most respected, influential women in the world, was a cheap attempt to hijack headlines. She made it clear this wasn't just an attack on a celebrity friend. It was a distraction from the real issue. By bringing Taylor into the courtroom drama, Lively claimed Baldoni's legal team was trying to derail the case and create chaos that had nothing to do with justice. But the facts don't care about anyone's PR spin. Baldoni's team has not backed down. The subpoena remains active, and unless Swift's lawyers can kill it, she'll be expected to testify. That means a real possibility, no matter how distant, for Swift to be called to the witness stand in 2026. And the public won't forget what that would look like. This isn't just about celebrity friendships anymore. It's about reputations, power plays, and the collision of Hollywood and the law. Blake Lively says she's standing up for victims. Baldoni's team says they're defending the truth. And Taylor Swift? She's trying to stay out of it, while the legal system tries to drag her deeper in. With every headline, the stakes rise. What began as a private conflict between two co-stars has now pulled in one of the world's most powerful women. And whether she speaks in court or not, Taylor Swift is already a central figure in a battle she never agreed to fight. The countdown is on. Court filings confirm that the trial is scheduled for March 2026, giving both sides time to prepare for what could be one of the most dramatic legal showdowns Hollywood has seen in years. But while Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni brace for war, Taylor Swift's entire team is racing against the clock, doing everything they can to keep her far from the witness stand. Behind the scenes, Swift's attorneys are building a wall. They're gathering every email, timestamp, and contract that proves she had no creative involvement with It Ends With Us. Their mission is simple: prove Taylor was a bystander, not a participant. Every statement from her team paints a picture of someone who was completely uninvolved, someone whose name is only being used for shock value and courtroom theater. And if they can prove that, they may be able to get the subpoena tossed before Taylor ever sets foot near a courthouse. But there's a problem. Legal subpoenas don't vanish just because someone is famous.
from her friend after her name was cited in Justin Baldoni's lawsuit filed against Blake and husband Ryan Reynolds. The source further claims that Tay didn't want to get any more tangled in the proceedings between the two former co-stars.
If the court believes there's even a small chance Taylor witnessed something relevant, even a single overheard comment in that penthouse, she could be legally compelled to testify. That's the nightmare scenario her team is trying to avoid. And while they battle in silence, the public is watching everything unfold like a scripted series. Every move, every statement, every silence is under a microscope. And Swift knows what's at stake. This isn't just about avoiding the courtroom. It's about protecting the brand she spent nearly 2 decades building. A billion-dollar tour, multiple record-breaking albums, and her public image as a fiercely private, drama-free icon. Everything could be put at risk if she's pulled into a scandal that doesn't belong to her. For now, she's staying quiet. No Instagram posts, no Twitter clapbacks, no cryptic lyrics. Just a cold, calculated legal strategy to shut this down before it explodes. But time is ticking, and the courtroom doesn't care about stadium tours. If the subpoena holds, Taylor Swift could be forced to walk into federal court, swear under oath, and answer questions in a case she never asked to be part of. And if that day comes, it won't just be a legal proceeding, it'll be a media earthquake. Because no matter how far she runs from this drama, the court may still come calling. Now, the dust is starting to settle, but what's left behind isn't just a fractured friendship. It's a crater in the middle of Hollywood's elite. Blake Lively, once part of Taylor Swift's trusted inner circle, is now surrounded by silence. No public support, no red carpet selfies, not even a single like on Instagram. The digital trail tells the truth. Taylor Swift has vanished from Blake's life. And that's not a coincidence. It's a message. Fans noticed it immediately. Taylor, once known for hyping her friends' projects with emoji-stacked posts and shout-outs, has gone completely dark on It Ends With Us. While Blake pushed out promo after promo, hoping for Swift's powerful cosign, the response was deafeningly quiet. Not a word, not a repost, nothing. The woman who once called Lively her sister in public now treats her like a ghost. That's not subtle. That's strategic.
So Seth Meyers apparently thinks it's really funny all the backlash that he received after having Blake Lively on his show.
But it's not just Taylor who's gone cold. The ripple effect is everywhere. Travis Kelce, Swift's boyfriend, unfollowed Ryan Reynolds, Blake's husband, just days after the subpoena news broke. That one tap of a button said more than any press release. Hollywood stars are backing away, and fast. They've seen what happens when friendships turn into court cases, and no one wants to be next. And behind the scenes, Netflix is scrambling. The company once banking on a heartfelt hit is now dealing with a PR disaster. Instead of press tours and romantic trailers, they're fielding questions about subpoenas and legal drama. What was supposed to be a touching adaptation has turned into a full-blown scandal, complete with courtroom timelines, defamation claims, and now one of the most famous women on the planet being legally dragged into the chaos. Even Hugh Jackman, yes, Wolverine himself, is tangled in the fallout. Blake Lively name-dropped him too, tying his friendship with Reynolds to the growing legal mess. Jackman hasn't commented publicly, but word inside the industry is clear. He's not happy. No one is. Blake's attempt to rally support from her celebrity circle has backfired spectacularly. Instead of bringing people closer, it's pushing them away. Taylor Swift, once called a dragon by Blake in a now infamous Game of Thrones reference, has made her position unmistakably clear. She's not flying in to protect anyone. She's flying far away. And for someone like Swift, whose reputation is built on loyalty, silence this loud is as sharp as any statement. This isn't just a legal battle anymore, it's a complete social unraveling. Blake Lively might have walked into this thinking she had her friends, her truth, and her power behind her. But what she has now is isolation, a damaged brand, and a courtroom date with no cavalry coming to save her. And while Taylor Swift continues her record-breaking tour, lighting up stadiums and controlling headlines on her own terms, one thing is clear. The woman once seen as Blake's fiercest ally is now her loudest absence.